Shut up and sit down.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Takeover Tuesday, episode 9. My name's Carlos Redlick, and I'm here with David Holman. Hey, David, you there?
I'm here, man. How are you? And Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. I guess it's just after the holidays. I guess just before the New Year, so Happy New Year's, too.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you as well, Carlos. Are you still in Miami?
Yeah, still in Miami. Did a little bit of running around here. It was kind of cool, but kind of looking forward to going back to Jacksonville, you know? I
That's
don't
probably
know.
the first time anyone's ever said that.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny. I just got a fucking AR, an AR-15, and I
Oh
want
yeah.
to go blast it. But yeah, I don't want to blast it in a fucking shooting range. I want to go out in the country and just, have fun. So I
Okay.
just want to Jacksonville in that area where I can go outside and let loose, you know?
Nice, brother. That sounds like a good time.
Yeah. So, K-Pasa, dude. So what are we going over today? I kind of have an idea. And where are you at? I know you always move around, so I always like to say something, you know. You
Yeah,
never
yeah.
know where.
I'm in New Orleans, and I'll be in New Orleans until about April. So I'll be here for a while.
Oh,
This is
that's
probably
right.
the longest stop this year. Yeah, just it's been super hot here. It's been like in the 80s.
Whew.
And humid, like 90% humidity every day. So this is the first Christmas really where I was like wearing shorts and a t-shirt and sweating my you know what off.
Yeah, man, that sounds just like Miami. I was taking like 3, 4 showers a day. It was fucking crazy. God, I'm still doing that. What am I saying? I was. I'm still in Miami. It's crazy.
Awesome.
Um,
So today we're going to
yeah,
talk
so
about meeting that one person who can change everything.
yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's happened to you, and I think it's happened to a few people. It's got to happen to a few people. I know it's happened to me. We go through our like business lives, assuming you're an entrepreneur, you're in business or whatever. You meet clients here and there, but every now and then you'll meet a client that's kind of like the golden egg. I mean, they're really the game changers that can take you from let's say a $1,000 or $5,000 a month income to 15, 20 or more $1,000, maybe even more than that, whatever your game changer is. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
Um, so I mean, one of the things that I kind of want to talk about is just meeting those people doesn't happen by accident. You know what I mean? Everybody's like trying to prepare for shit. Like, how am I gonna act, or what should I say?
Right.
Like you can't really prepare for that. You just kind of got to go for it, you know? So, I mean, at least in my case, I have two game changer clients in my life right now that we're working together. And I mean, by next year, I'm fucking hoping to do a lot more, like a whole bunch. Like, I don't even want to say it. It should be really cool. But yeah, I'll talk cool and brag whenever it happens, I guess. But
Right.
fucking, all that happened because I was constantly working with clients that may not have been the best clients or whatever, but I was putting out work, I was doing shit, I was waking up early, doing fucking recordings of videos, doing a whole bunch of stuff. And I mean, this is stuff that doesn't happen by accident. I actually had another client reach out to me now, who is a potential. We're about to figure it all out. He said yes, and now we're just about to. It's waiting for the payment. It's never yes until money's been paid. But it's a guy from Agora, which if anybody's familiar with
Oh wow.
Agora, yeah, well, it's funny because I had, 7, 8 months ago, I was thinking, how do I contact these people to fucking get a hold of them, see if I can beg my way into a sales letter. And this time, this guy actually, and it's another shout out to Colin, because this guy is actually in the Cult of Copy group. He's never commented on my shit, never said anything. And he's like, hey man, I'm actually just in the backgrounds. We're doing $1 million a month with one of our VSLs that he's going to pay me to rewrite, and we're going to do pay a fee plus a royalty on that, and it's fucking gangster because that royalty, assuming I can fucking do what I think I can do, could end up being a $15,000 a month recurring income for me as long as that fucking VSL keeps converting. And
Nice.
that's, you know what I mean? And the thing is, this guy is from Agora, and he reached out to me because of the content that I was putting out for months and all the cool shit I was putting out for months. and he reached out to me. You know what I mean? He actually, and the fact that he reached out, it's not like he went to my website, because I don't have a copywriting website. It's
Right.
fucking hilarious. I see all these people with copy websites, and I'm like, Jesus, that's fucking sick. Like, I'll probably end up doing it, but I'm like, you don't need a fucking copywriting website to be a
No,
copywriter. You know what I mean? So
no.
he messaged me on my fan page, and he's like, "Hey man, so I was trying to find you on the Cult of Copy, and then I went to your YouTube, and I was trying to find your website. Didn't see your website, so I messaged you on here, trying to figure out where to get a hold of you." And I'm like, this motherfucker is awesome. Like, he just went through like a bunch of loops
Right.
unintentionally to do it. And the whole point of it is, it's not, these things aren't accidents. It's fucking months or years in the working of constantly putting shit out, and then finally breaking through the noise to actually meet that game changer, or those few game changer people that could really make, in this case, 2016 a fucking
Yeah,
unbelievable year. You know what I mean?
absolutely. No, that similar thing that happened to me. I was taking when I got into copywriting, maybe a couple years ago. I was doing mostly email. At the time, I wanted to get into the email niche. I was making Vine was like a new thing, basically. Everyone was making vines and so forth, and so
Right.
I would make a daily vine. I was doing the Gary Halbert thing of copying out sales letters by hand, and so every day I would take a vine of what sales letter I was copying out by hand, and just to keep me. It was kind of a support group for myself, basically too. But through that, guy contacted me, and I had sent out feelers earlier, I think, for him, much earlier than that. But then he finally contacted me, and he became a mentor in the copywriting thing for the stuff I've done. So I got that guy through that, and he has vetted all the work that I've done since then, basically. So all the stuff sort of comes through him. That way, I'm not dealing with tire kickers and people that like the jumping through the hoops you just mentioned reminded me of that. Because the hoops have already been jumped through by the time it comes to me. But with you, this guy really wanted you that bad. You knew that's how you know people are serious. They jump through these various hoops just because they want it, because they know it's serious. They're going to pay good money to get you to work for them. And it's the same thing I've experienced being a magician. I try to make it difficult for people to waste my time. And so I tell people up front, this is what I charge. You probably can't afford that, because in the sort of sometimes in the magician sort of market, you're getting people soliciting you for like these cheap parties and stuff like that you really don't want to do. I try to cut that off at the knees by being less available, and also just sort of telling them up front, you probably can't afford me. So just
It's kind of funny that you actually brought up the video thing, because my girlfriend was doing that, and she was actually putting them up on Instagram, I think.
okay,
And it's fucking hilarious, because she actually got a client that was a pretty decent, client, that
right,
came through Instagram after I don't know how many weeks. It wasn't very long, I don't think. I think maybe a few weeks, where she was just putting out little 15-second videos and pictures of the copy that she wrote out or whatever by
right,
hand, and all this stuff. And it's so funny that you said you got it through Vine. I mean, there's
yeah,
so many ways you can get clients. I know we weren't initially talking about just getting clients, but there's so many ways of getting clients. It's fucking crazy. I mean, Instagram, Vine, I would have never thought of finding a real copywriting client on there. You know what I mean? And
oh yeah,
all she did was add a bunch of people who are already her friends on Facebook, who coincidentally were probably already on the Cult of Copy. And then she just always put hashtags like copywriting, copywriter,
right,
shit like that. And, I mean, that's crazy. It's so much easier than it was, I assume, in those old school days. You know what I mean?
oh
Like,
yeah,
there's no reason a copywriter or anybody isn't successful if they're at least knowledgeable on this little bit of stuff. I mean, just putting out consistent content, putting out good shit is what's going to count. That's what counts in the long run.
yeah, oh yeah. It's funny too, because I was just listening to something the other day by a fellow we probably both know, Dan Meredith. You know who that is, eh, Carlos?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He had this thing that he shared as part of like a New Year's sort of like freebie, where he sort of let people have some of his content for platinum members, where it talked about, which is something you've employed very well, I would say, Carlos, the be everywhere scenario. where we've talked about this on previous podcasts too, where you've made these videos and you make videos like a crazy person, Carlos, and you're just everywhere all the time. Like even a couple of weeks ago, I saw you were asking people how often you were showing up in their feeds, because people were saying, "I see you every day." Like something weird must be happening here, but you've just put out so much great content that you are everywhere. People see you all the time. This guy from Agora, saw you. Something happened to me here about 2 weeks ago. I signed up. I'm in New Orleans right now. I signed up for a meetup on meetup.com for some local business people, because I'm going to be here for 4 months. So I figured out I'll attend some of these meetings, maybe network with some of these people in person. And as a result, I couldn't make the meeting actually because it was really early in the morning and I was out really late the night before. So I decided to skip it. However, a guy that attended the meeting messaged me on the Meetup website or whatever it was and saying, "Oh, I was expecting to sort of see you at the meeting. Unfortunately, you weren't there. I have something I wish to talk to you about." And so we talked a little bit, and we're going to work out something to do some copywriting for him. So
sick, man.
Yes,
that's awesome.
There's so many channels now too. I think that's something maybe to bring up is that probably the least trafficked channel now, because the internet's so everything's driven through email and the internet, is the in-person things. So if you're a copywriter and you're wherever you are, you're in Timbuktu, go to some local business meetups and meet people face to face, and they'll give you an opportunity, pitch them, if you will, maybe subtly in some of these meetup groups and stuff like that, because people are always looking for that. And most people are not employing, of course, copywriters to do most of their stuff, so they're missing out on all the wicked awesomeness that can occur when you have somebody who knows what they're doing craft the message.
Right. Yeah.
What about you, Carlos? Have you done any of that kind of stuff locally where you're at in Jacksonville?
No, you know what? I've never done anything. It's fucking crazy because my usually I guess don't want to rely on one source to get leads.
Right.
But that's literally all I had to do with my copy stuff was, again, just the fucking cult of copy. Like, I don't understand how people, like, I have thrown out exactly what I've done, and like I don't get why there's still copywriters out there who, like, in the same time frame have said, "Hey man, I see you're charging $200 when I was charging $200 for sales letters. That's pretty
Right.
cool, dude. I'm in the same boat. I'm a newbie." And then, 7-8 months down the line, they're telling me, "Hey man, how do I raise my prices? I'm trying to raise it to like maybe $500-600 a sales letter." I'm like, what the fuck? Are you kidding me? Like, are you serious? Like, that's why I think I put out a few days ago on my Facebook, like, don't hang around people who are stills. They're still broke, still in the same spot, still fucking complaining, like same shit. Like I don't get it. Like, it's so simple. Like, people try to overcomplicate it. So for me, I never did the local marketing thing or whatever. Well, I did, I guess, but I never did it for copywriting services. I did it selling websites, but when I was for copywriting, all I did was go into the cult of copy, put ads out, meet a bunch of people in that specific group because they're already like highly targeted. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I didn't even care who liked me at the time because I have no expectations.
Yeah, who cares?
Like
Who cares?
yeah, like, I don't really expect anybody to reach out to. Like, in the end, I kind of think, yeah, they probably will, and I just kind of assumed it, and I guess that's kind of why it worked. I mean, that's not why it worked. It just fortunately worked. And then I started reading Gary Vee, and I'm like, Gary Vee talks about it, so I'm like, fuck, thank God I'm at least on the right track, because
Right.
it's like meeting a normal human being. Like, social media is so simple. It's just how personal can you do it? Like, for example, when I put out that one comment of, how many people see my shit in their feed, and I had a bunch of responses. Everybody was talking about it, and some people I didn't even like connect with, like, ever, really. Like, I'm like, oh fuck yeah, like, now I'm getting some even more engagement. And then I've never heard of this algorithm that Facebook has, but like, until recently, where, I mean, you can only reach a certain amount of people depending on, I guess, if they engage with you. I don't really know. I don't understand it. I didn't get it. But apparently it's basically trying to make it as personal as possible, right? So
Right.
it's fucking simple to me. Just put out really cool content, and you're basically in front of an audience of however big your friends list is, right? Fucking, let's say 3,000 people or whatever it is. And and just fucking talk. Just say what you think. You may get a few 50 or 100 people, but they're all really fucking targeted. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like you said, you only need one or two, if you get
You
the right
only need
people.
you only need one or two, and the people who are really like in motion to making shit happen, the people you want to connect with, are generally really busy, or they're just they. I mean, I don't want to say that because I know actually some making a fuckload of money that aren't really that busy.
Busy at
You know?
all. Yeah.
So I shouldn't say that, but a lot of times they're just busy in their own head planning what the next shit is they want to do. So they're busy with their own stuff, I guess you'd say. But if you're just constantly putting out value, and one of your million fucking posts over the next few months, which is what kind of happens with me, if just one of those resonates with somebody in some way, that gets to engage. I mean, that's how I've gotten, I guess, a lot of reach, because I've started like looking at my I never really did this. It's so funny. I just put out a bunch of shit, and I'm starting to look at my stats. I'm like, wow, I'm getting like a lot of reach. At least I think I am. It looks like it, because I'm getting a lot more than what my fan page is, and I'm getting a lot of shares and people. And a lot of it is whenever somebody shares my shit, I'll just go on their page and I'll say, hey, thanks so much for sharing, because I want to engage. It's just positive reinforcement. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, they did something I really want them to continue fucking doing. So I'm just gonna thank them. And now when people message me, I mean, I know I'm probably talking a lot, but it's one of the things that has really helped out now is I've taken on just doing video messages as a response as much as fucking possible. So I get a lot of people now who are generally aspiring copywriters. If it's not for business, it's usually aspiring copywriters. It's just for some reason it happens. And they message me asking me for advice. And I think it's cool because I'm like, I've actually been in your exact same position. Like, I know what you do. Like, just fucking do what I did like the last 7 months. You know what I
Right.
mean? And so I just go and I tell them, like, they'll say, hey, they'll ask me a bunch of shit, and I'll just respond with a video message, and they like it. I like it because it's a lot faster for me, because I hate texting and all that shit because I have fat fingers. It takes so long. I just really suck at it. It takes like 20 minutes to write a Facebook post. So it's horrible. So if I can do a video, I rather do it. And they like it because it's just more personal. They actually get to connect with somebody they've never really met. Like, people don't look at their pictures a lot of times. Now they know I actually, like, this is who the fuck I am. You know who I am. This is my response to you personally. You know what I mean? And a lot of people like that. Even if you're not a famous movie star, they just like the fact that if they're asking for your advice, you actually took the time to give it to them. You know what I mean? That's pretty cool.
No, that's very
So I think a
cool.
lot of people got to do that, especially if you're looking for business. Get in front of your audience and don't think of pitching them right away. Think of actually building a fucking connection and actually being their friend, whether that's giving away free content, whatever it is. I mean, there's so many different areas that you can make side hustles. Like, eBay is straight, like, you don't necessarily need a fucking connection. You just get shit from like dhgate.com or another supplier from China, and then put it on eBay and go garage sailing, put it on eBay. It's not like there could be your cash flow. But I mean, if you're looking for something in the long run, if you're in a long-term type of business, you're not just looking to do it for a few years and get out, then I think it's really good to build that long-term stability where now people kind of know. Like, I kind of have a mini track record within our little community because I put so much content. People just assume I know my shit. I mean, I
Yeah.
do know my shit, but what if I didn't? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Yeah, they wouldn't be able to tell the difference if you didn't, really.
yeah, I'm sure you could, I guess.
Yeah.
I'd like to think you could, but the fact is, like, I'm staying relevant. I'm staying in their face. I'm breaking above the noise. Like, I have people referring me to different people in different groups who need copywriters, and I'm like, fuck, dude, I love it now, because now my problem is I just have too much business. Now it's like, this is awesome. I'll just refer them to my girlfriend because she kicks ass, and now her schedule's getting booked up. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
fucking, it's crazy. It's cool how shit just kind of has a domino effect. But the biggest key is staying relevant, continuously putting out content that's valuable, because not everybody likes to read your fucking ad in your latest webinar. Like,
Right.
we know it's fucking sales pitch. If at least, I mean, I do. Like, I mean, it's obviously going to work, but also think about all the value that you got to put out. Like, put out some fucking content.
No, that's a very good point. And I think too, it should be made clear when I said that people wouldn't be able to tell the difference. The people you want, I mean, the average person might not be able to tell the difference. They just see you, blazing videos up every day and stuff. But someone who's that confident and by doing that much value giving, if you will, if that's a term, you know, people will understand like this guy must know what he's talking about. He wouldn't shoot his mouth off this much kind of idea, you know.
Right.
But also the people who you really want to work for, they understand that because they you know they listen to the videos. They understand you may say one or two things in there that they know you could only know if you knew what you were doing. You know,
Right.
so
Right.
it connects with them too, and they see that over and over again. They just have those little nuggets, and like, oh, this guy clearly knows what he's doing, and he's hustling. That's another thing they want for somebody who's going to work, get the shit done on time, and all that stuff too. So they can see that if you're churning out that much content, you get stuff done.
Yeah, exactly. It's just about getting. I mean, I like to think of it, and I think I mentioned it before. I like to think of it as like this old school mobster fucking mentality, almost like this 1920s fucking like whatever I've seen in the movies, this real old school respectable business on a handshake type shit.
Right?
Obviously, I do like agreements. I like that,
Yeah.
but the kind of principle behind it, I like that. Like your word is your bond type of thing,
Right.
and because I think a lot of that has been lost because especially online now you can just kind of recreate a new identity, a new avatar, put a
Right.
fucking product out and you're kind of good to go. You can pretty much just, it doesn't really matter really if you want it to be. So
Right.
I don't know. I mean, I think if you just combine a lot of the real kick-ass technology and a lot of the kick-ass avenues we have to fucking make money and get in front of people and help them, then and you combine that with the old school work ethic. I mean, there's something to be said about what I guess the older generations, the fuck I like to call them the my fathers and grandfathers and whatever, but not
Right.
really. It's even whatever. Anybody who's not what am I? I'm 29. I'm 29 years old. What is that? What is generation what? Millennial.
Millennial. You're a millennial.
Yeah. So this is I even think I pretty much agree with most of the people who say millennials are lazy because the thing is that a lot of people, and now it's actually not true. Cardone has done a fucking phenomenal job of like converting my generation
Right.
into like slurs. I think. I mean and him and Vaynerchuk. So I think that's actually changing.
Yeah.
I should probably take that back, but I think that a lot of times there's some sort of truth to that, right? And so a lot of the older generations have really good work ethic, and if they just combined it with some of the savviness that the younger generation has, that's like, why the fuck would I work 80 hours if I could just work 3 hours and read the 4 hour work week and do whatever the fuck it is.
Right.
And so that's kind of the mentality, and if they could just kind of have a balance between it, that's really the beauty of it. So really the goal for anybody, I think, any to listen to this podcast, whatever industry you're in, combine that old school work ethic and respect and fucking word is your bond type of mentality, use agreements and shit. But combine that with the savviness of a young entrepreneur who knows how to fucking use the internet, use direct mail, use fucking copy and marketing, and really get in front of millions of people. I mean, we just have to stop limiting it ourselves. I never would have thought years and years ago that $1 million a month was possible. But now I have clients that they all fucking do $1 million a month with just one video sales letter. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like what maybe they should have 5 video sales letters. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like what?
Right.
So it's crazy shit. We live in a really crazy time, and just like Vaynerchuk likes to say, fucking this is only like a 25 year old fucking
Yeah.
thing. Internet's only 25 years old.
Yeah. Brand new.
Imagine in another 20 years, like, good God, like
Oh yeah.
everybody else not hopping on board this type of shit now, you're going to get played out and fucked up. Like the middle class is screwed. So you're
Yeah.
either going to be dead broke, fucking struggling for crumbs, living out of clay houses like they do in my mom's home country in fucking Bolivia, or
Right.
you're going to be fucking rich. Like,
Yeah.
I rather choose to be rich. You're going to work hard one way or another. So just work hard for yourself. You know what I mean? It's,
Yeah.
if you're trying to prepare for the future, this is the time, because in the next 20 fucking years, I really foresee a lot of people having a huge wake up call when they're like, oh shit, I played the wrong game. I
Right.
took the wrong fucking path. And then it's like, I don't know. I don't know if it'll be too late or not. Hopefully it won't be, but fuck, like
No, I know
it's
exactly what
no,
exactly what you mean.
now.
Yeah. People. I was talking to this with a buddy of mine the other day, and I said, you know what? I was thinking about this, and even every, if you want to call them poor people, for lack of a better term, every poor person, poor people I know that are broke, they all have access to the internet.
Right.
Like universally, most of them have smartphones. I see people driving around who don't have a car. They're using a beat up bike and stuff, but they're still texting people or talking on their smartphone. You know, so there's no fucking excuse either.
Yeah, a lot of times you just don't have the knowledge to take action on things, but once you have the knowledge, you can't be paralyzed by trying to get more fucking knowledge. You have to just do it. So I think I wish that there was some way, like, just fucking the TV stations and the big media and everything would just be like, here's a simple way of making some cash. Get click funnels or lead pages, fucking throw up a product and then go buy some Google or Bing traffic, or maybe throw some YouTube traffic your way, whatever it is, and do that for a couple years, see what happens, and maybe you'll be able to make a few $1,000s a month, and shit, if that's what you want, that's what you want. If
Oh
not, then
yeah,
you don't.
and I
But
think it's
it's
a self-selecting process though too. I mean, if
yeah,
people really want to get out of the situation where they're in, they're already looking for it.
yeah, exactly.
It's
It's like
there
the
because the
Matrix.
information is at your fingertips. All the answers are out there.
Get out of the Matrix. Get
Get
out
out
of
of
the
the
Matrix.
matrix. Unplug.
It's true. Wow, what a great one. I'm gonna go watch that movie now.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome, man. Well, how for we normally pimp out our
So yeah,
guests.
that's all I want to say for now. Fuck everything else. You just
Yeah,
got to go out and take action. Like, it doesn't matter whatever it is that you're studying and everything. I just put a little post out today on my Facebook. You just have to go and just take action. Get a little bit of knowledge, get the knowledge you need, but don't overwhelm yourself with, like, just get the first 2, 3, 4 steps down, and then just start doing it. Don't worry about the 28-step process.
yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
You'll figure it out as you go.
Yeah, there's like a 28 count or 26 count Muay Thai boxing combination that I had to learn. And I'm like telling people, dude, don't even worry about, just get the first 4, because like the first 4 is pretty much the rest of the shit. So just get the first 4. Don't worry about everything else, because they get, oh my God, 28 count, I got to learn everything. And I get the fucking, just do 4,
Yeah,
Just get started,
chunk it down into something you can do.
Yeah, chunk it down and move on. Chunk it down and move on. That's it.
So, Carlos, if people want to get a hold of you, how do they get a hold of you so they don't have to hire a private investigator? How do they do it?
They just go to my Facebook page. It's facebook.com/Carlos Redlich, Redlich.
Nice. Yeah, if people want to reach me, they can. Well, we have a podcast page, so it's facebook.com/Takeover Tuesday podcast. I'm under David Allen on I'm the handsome guy in the picture, so you'll be able to find me. Yeah, I think David Allen Magic is the at gmail.com is my email address. So anyone who's looking for any direction or needs help, Carlos and I are out and to do the work too. So we normally pimp out our guests. Today we're pimping out ourselves.
Awesome, guys. Awesome, man. So hey, is there when are we meeting again? Next Tuesday, I guess, obviously, but next when are we having Ryan Stewman on?
We have Ryan Stewman on, I believe, on the 11th. So that's the hardcore closer, Ryan Stewman, which is a huge.
That's gonna be exciting.
Oh yeah, he's awesome. He's funny. Seems like he's a real, just what we're talking about here today. Ryan's done the exact same thing. I'm sure his story will be very similar. I don't really know it as of yet, but I'm sure he has done he puts out great content all the time, every day. Yeah, we have upcoming guests. We have too. We have a friend of mine, Scott Balster, out of Colorado, who has a bunch of side hustles. He sells sport paraphernalia online. He has a bunch of sort of side businesses where he gets local people connected with jobs they need done, almost like a TaskRabbit, but locally where he's at.
Right.
And we have another guy who has licensed books in other languages coming on in January. And he has licensed books in a country that he's in, and he's making a killing licensing books that were only released in the U.S. and so forth. So we got some really crazy guests coming up. Some more copywriters too that I've been talking to are going to come on the show. Some big names. So we're just kicking ass. We just got to keep banging it out and giving people as much help as they can. It's out here for people to take it.
Awesome, dude. Awesome. Well, hey, I'll I guess we should wrap it up now, and then I'll catch you next week. And hopefully, everybody, if you again, if you have any kind of recommendations that you want to listen to, anything you want us to go over specifically, what's our Facebook fan page again?
So it's facebook.com/Takeover Tuesday podcast. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, just put them right on that page, because then we can just, we get the notifications, and we'll talk about it on the very next show. Anything you want to talk about. If they want to talk copywriting, if they want to talk sales, if they want to talk how to craft calls to action, headlines, whatever they're having problems with, just put it on our Facebook fan page, and we will address it in the very next episode.
Sweet. Awesome, man. Hey, I'll talk to you next week.
Sounds good, man. Talk to you later.
Ciao.
Bye. And we'd also like to thank Ben Sound at bensound.com for the intro and outro music. Later.